en la ciencia.
Yo.
How's it going, everyone?
Here at Next Gen Poker, you guys have seen a lot of combinations of us. Some of us have had to sit out for various reasons. The beginning vlogs were me and Frankie, and you got a lot of the three of us. Recently, you've been getting Jello and Frankie. This is the first time ever where you're getting the two of us, this combo of Next Gen Poker.
Frankie's back home in Kansas City right now.
South Dakota.
South Dakota, same thing.
What a weirdo.
Yeah, I know, weird state. We're missing him, but it's okay. We're gonna run it up for him and play a little 1-2 again. We'll see how it goes, and we will catch you boys in there.
Peace. Okay, first hand for me, we got pocket queens under the gun +1. Under the gun makes it $4, the old min raise. That's not enough. I go 15, middle position calls, small blind calls, and under the gun calls. Classic 4 ways to a flop. And what do we love with queens on a flop? Ace, ace, king, you guessed it. Checks to middle position, who goes 30, the nut small blind. This guy was absolutely crazy. You will see that later this session. He calls, gets back to me. Honestly, I think a fold here is perfectly fine, but because the nut is across the table for me and he's still in the hand, I am gonna call. I don't necessarily agree with this play. I think I can still fold. The turn is an offsuit 7, and the aforementioned nut leads out for $90. I fold. The middle position guy folds, so I don't really know what anyone had based on that action, but I just think we can get away from that on the flop.
One of our very first hands dealt in the night, we look down at ace-king offsuit in the small blind. Under the gun bets $20, and there are 2 callers. It's on me. I'm surely going to be throwing a 3-bet in, and out of position, I choose to size up a 6x sizing to $120. The under the gun player thinks about it for a bit and ends up making the fold. I'm assuming this is going to cause a domino effect, causing the other callers to fold, which they do, and we end up scooping $62 of a pot uncontested. Great start to the session.
Next hand for me, we look down at the beautiful ace-8 of clubs on the button. There's a couple limps, middle position raises it up to 15. I call along with literally everyone at the table. Not joking, we are going 8 ways to a flop. Flop comes ace of hearts, 7 of spades, 7 of clubs. We got a top pair on a rainbow board, but it's pretty likely someone could have a 7 here, especially because everyone's still in the hand. So it actually checks all the way to me on the button, and I don't feel comfortable putting out a bet just yet. The turn is the 8 of diamonds. It is an offsuit card and gives us 2 pair now. Now, we're still behind the 7 if someone has it, so I'm still not super confident. The nut leads out for $30 here. Now, this was the aforementioned player from earlier, and this guy could have anything. The cutoff calls. I really just think a call here is the best option. Someone could very well have a 7 because we were 8 ways. Let's get closer and closer to showdown. 3 ways to the river, 6 of hearts. The nut only bets $30, folds to me. I don't really think we can get called by worse if we raise. Maybe we can get called by an ace, honestly. And given that this guy is a nut, he's got a wider range. So maybe this should be a spot to raise, especially given the bet based on the size of the pot. So maybe a little error here by me. I just decide to flat because we started 8 ways. He shows a pair of 8s. That's it. We win. Easy money. Let's go.
While Rosie is stacking fools left and right on the other table, taking names and making racks, we are running super card dead over here. It's very tough. We haven't really played much flops, haven't opened much hands, and have hardly gotten to showdown. Very tough and very tilting. Let me know what you guys do in the comments below to get over card deadness. It's a part of my mental game that I want to be working on and fixing, because this has happened to me a few times in the past where I want to get involved in hands more when I'm running card dead that I really don't have any business getting involved in. So let me know what you guys do to combat this. It would be greatly appreciated.
Next hand for me, we got pocket 4s in the hijack. Folds to me. I make it $10. Cutoff calls, button calls, small blind calls, big blind calls. Guess we'll just turn this into a set mine here at the Hideaway. Flop comes ace, 8, 9, ace of clubs, 8 of hearts, 9 of diamonds. Nothing for me. But it checks around. We get to see a free turn card, and the turn card is the Ace of Diamonds. It pairs the board, and when it checks to me a second time, I'm actually going to take a stab here for a little bit of value action here. I don't think anyone has an ace because they paired the board and it's been checked to me twice, so I lead out for $30. Only one person calls, and it is the aforementioned nut psycho player across from me in the big blind. We're going heads up to a river. The river is the 8 of spades. It double pairs the board, meaning we now have absolutely nothing. We are playing the board. He snap checks it over to me. There's only one way I'm going to win this hand, boys. I go for the bluff against the Maniac. Textbook poker, not a play you're supposed to make, but I want to win. There's only one way I can win. I throw out $55. Snap folds. We take it down. Bluff Maniacs, boys. It always works. On to the next one.
Next hand of note, we look down at 4 or 5 of spades under the gun +1. After being card dead for a few hours, this looks like the nuts to me. I want to get involved in some pots, and so I open this to $15. Middle position calls, the small blind and the big blind calls, so we're off to a flop 4 ways, which comes 10-8-3, 2 spades, 2 checks to me, and I decide if I lead out here, it'll look very strong and get a lot of credit because I haven't opened a hand in about 3 hours. I also haven't continued on a flop in a really long time, so especially into 3 people, I'm sure this will get a lot of credit. I lead out here for $35, no need to size too big. Middle position folds, the small blind makes the call, and the big blind has some news for me. He check raises me to $105. Gross spot for me. I definitely did not need to put in that total $50 from pre-flop and on the flop, because now I'm kind of forced to fold here. Even his bluffs include better flush draws, so I am losing to those as well. And if we hit, we're for sure going to get stacked there. So this is kind of gross, but I have to lay this one down. The turn ends up being a king, and the river was a 4. The small blind and big blind ended up getting it all in, so I did get to see what the big blind had, and he had 10-8 of clubs, so he flopped top 2 pair, absolutely smashed that flop, and I'm glad we were able to get away from it. This is another weakness in my game I'm working on toning in. You can definitely tell I wanted to get involved in pots because I was so card dead, but sometimes you just have to stay patient and wait for better opportunities, and when you're card dead, you just gotta fold.
You guys know my range, so it's no surprise when you see me with Jack 3 of clubs in the big blind, baby. This hand is happening. Everyone limps, the small blind actually folds, and we check. So we're 7 ways instead of 8 to a flop, which comes Jack of diamonds, 3 of diamonds, 8 of clubs. We got 2 pair and the back door. Clubs draw, I lead out for $10, under the gun calls, and the aforementioned player, of course, the nut calls as well. The turn is the 3 of hearts. We boat up with my new favorite hand. I decide to slow down and check for a little bit of deception. The under the gun player leads out for 25. The nut folds, and honestly, could go for a raise here, but I almost just want him to get there so I can get more money in the middle. So I decide to be a little sneaky and just call. Maybe that's still a raise spot though. The river is a dope card. It's the 7 of diamonds. Lots of things to get there, including the front door flush draw. I lead out for $60. He thinks about it, makes the call with a straight 10-9 of hearts is what he had. So he had the open ender on the turn. Don't know how much of a bigger raise he would have called if I did raise the turn. So I think we got a good chunk of value for this raggedy hand. On to the next one.
Final hand and note for us, we look down at a premium pocket force, a rampage special in middle position. Under the gun bets $4, such a huge sizing by them, and +1 raises to $15. I make the call, the small blind calls, and the under the gun player actually folds. Kind of weird, so we're off to a flop 3 ways, which is queen, jack, 3, 2 clubs, and 1 heart. Small blind checks, and +1 bets $16. Again, here's an example of me wanting to get way more involved than I need to. This was the best hand I'd seen all night, and so I really wanted to get to showdown at least once. This would be my first turn card I saw of 4-hour session, and hopefully if I can get the showdown, my very first river as well. So I make the call for $16, considering he could be bluffing here a few times with ace king, king 10, hands like that, and if I spike a 4 by a chance, I'll definitely get paid. The turn is the 7 of diamonds, and it actually checks all the way around. So at this point, I'm thinking he could be bluffing, and maybe by chance I could have the best hand. The river is the jack of diamonds, an actual great card for me. as it pairs the board and makes it less likely that he has a jack. The small blind checks, and the under the gun +1 player bets $65. Now, one thing I noticed here was that when the under the gun player bet this $65, he reached for $50 worth of chips and then thought about it for a second and grabbed $15 extra and put it in his bet and slid those chips forward. Now, that to me symbolizes that he really wants people to get off the hand. He wants to get folds here. And then I look over at the small blind. He's holding his cards already to fold. He's already literally sliding them forward, giving them to the dealer. So I know that he's about to fold. And for those reasons, I think that maybe if the under the gun +1 player is bluffing, that I could be good here with fours. Again, this is another flaw where I really just want to get involved in the hand. I haven't been to showdown yet, and I really wanted to. I think that there's a good chance I could have the best hand here. So I make the call for $65, and the small blind already had folded pretty much. So he flips over Jack 8 offsuit, unfortunately. He river trips and got absolute max value from me. Definitely a little bit of a donkey play here, but something I'm definitely going to be working on in the future.
Drop a like if you made it this far. Let me know. It's the hand of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Pocket kings under the gun. I raised to $12. Under the gun +1 calls. Folds to the aforementioned nut across from me in the small blind. He 3-bets to $31. I'm loving this. Gets back to me. I 4-bet to $122. Under the gun +1 folds, and the nut makes the call. Just where I want him. Let's go to a flop. 10 of clubs, 5 of spades, 2 of hearts. Very safe board for kings. I'm worried a little bit about pocket tens, but not a big deal. Alarm bells do go off when he donks into me for $100. Normally, a donk symbolizes strength, but this guy's an absolute nut. At this point, I kind of just say to myself, if you got tens, take all my money, sir. But I need to put more money in this pot right now. I rip it all in for $400-ish effective. He says he thinks I have aces, and he doesn't call right away. So I know we're ahead at the moment. I'm not really sure what he could have, maybe queens or jacks. Nevertheless, he makes the call. Me, being the variance-avoiding college student I am, asked to run it multiple times. He says no, only wants to run it once. This is probably one of the biggest pots of my life outside of the live stream. We are going to 1 turn and 1 river only. The turn is the 6 of diamonds, pretty safe card. The river pairs the board, and it pairs the 10 with the 10 of hearts on the river. So if he called my jam with top pair, we now lose to trips. Not my favorite river card. He flips over pocket nines. What? He said he thought I had aces. If he thought I had aces, why would he call with nines? I have no idea. I'm not asking any more questions, though. We scoop a enormous pot, and we bust the aforementioned nut player by the end of the night. People ended up leaving the table after this because everyone was basically at this table to try to get this guy's money. I was the lucky guy that got it, and wow, what a night.
We got 12 and 90 coming up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700. 50, 70, 90. I still owe you 500. 20, 40, 60, 81. 20, 40, 60, 82. 20, 40, 60, 80, 300. 20, 40, 60, 80, 400. 20, 40, 60, 80. And 5 makes 12.
The man
90.
himself.
Uh-oh.
We just wrapped up our session. It is getting close to 4 a.m., actually right on the dot, 4 a.m. A little late night grind for me and Rosie, Had to work up a little profit. I'll start us off. I was in the game for 560, out for a clean 300, so I made a profit of minus $260. Pretty good day for me, as you saw in the video. Ran really hot and got a lot of good cards, so a lot of exciting hands for you guys. And on to the main event right here.
Yes, it was a roller coaster of a day. We were into the game for $600. That's a lot of dollars. Out of the game for $1,290, which is a $690 profit, and I think it might be my biggest win ever. My biggest win ever is not close to Jello or Frankie's biggest win, but big win is a big win. Very good momentum builder for me. We are going to be on a live stream next Wednesday real time. It's probably already happened by the time you're watching this, but good momentum going into that. Hopefully you won, future Rosie. Next Gen's net positive today. Jello was card dead, not much we can do there, so happy to bring home some money for us. We'll catch you boys in the next one. Subscribe, do all the things that we like when you do.
Please drop a like. It helps a lot.
And
Would really appreciate it.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, we might be running card dead until we look down at 1 queen and... Oh no, it's just a 4. I make the fold. Until we look down at another queen. Oh no, it's just another 4. We make the fold.